So my expertise lies in the broad area of computing, communications, and machine learning, especially those that are done on the edge of the network and on mobile and small devices such as smartphones, laptops, vehicles, and even small microcontrollers and smart meters. I'm also very interested in exploring how these technologies can be used to build technologies that has to do with the Internet of Things, autonomous systems, and intelligent transportation. Okay, so Queen's School of Computing is one of the most reputable computing schools in Canada and worldwide, so I wanted to be part and contribute to its legacy. One other reason that attracted me to Queen's Computing specifically is its kind of central location between three major hubs in North America that are heavily packed with ICT companies, or information and communication technologies companies, which means that all the educational and research activities that we do here has to be related to what industry requires. So basically whatever I need to teach will have to be at least ahead, if not even 2 steps ahead from what industry provides, and also my research that has to be also industry driven, such that it can be easily marketable and also can really be applied to impact society. So I'm really interested in optimizing how mobile and resource limited devices can collaborate among themselves to try to handle a large number of simultaneous computing tasks, or more importantly, learn from their individually gathered data, and all this among themselves and with minimal or limited reliance on the cloud and the centralized services. So basically this can be, you can think of that as being some autonomous vehicles trying to collaborate together to have better perception of the road, or make better driving decisions to have they all reach their where they want to go. Or you can think of that as some smart meters trying to collaborate to have a better energy management, or decide which load should be charging first, or whose car should be charging first based on their requirements. And the list can go on and on to many applications for smart cities. Well, I believe that the next 10 years will be the pinnacle of my area of research. So we all see how people, governments, municipalities, they are very aggressive in trying to transform everything into automated and smart services. That requires them to have a lot of connected, like billions and billions of connected devices that are already been deployed, and we have even more coming on. So, and if we do that all, or send that all to centralized units to do that, this will be impossible. This will hinder the capacities of communication links. It will hinder the capacities or the capabilities of these cloud servers to achieve the required performance in the required time, or with the required speed. So this is where my research comes into play as a savior for this long-awaited dream to have these smart and fully automated cities, as we try to have these devices to bear a good share or a good amount of this processing and analytics on board or in a local setting, so that we can leave only the big tasks and long-term planning for the cloud servers to be able to handle them in the appropriate performance and speed. Well, my research changed or took the same trend as what we have seen in the information and communication realm for the last 2 decades. So when I started my PhD around the 2005-2006, the world was trying to push a lot of storage, data, and processing upwards toward the cloud at that time. So at that time, my role in my master's and PhD research was to try to facilitate that by improving communication between these systems, having strong established communication protocols, and also cloud computing applications. But then as we are now moving towards the smart cities area, where we're trying to push things more down to be able to handle the huge amount of data that is being generated, my research actually followed that as well, and we actually focused more on the edge side of things. And then also, and then this will also comes into play with how this technology will be able to handle the new trends of smart cities, autonomous vehicles, autonomous drones. So all these applications require this pushing down of some of the capabilities towards the edge, and this is where I'm actually focused nowadays. passion to innovate. So this is actually looking into this kind of strong urge to explore the unknown, try to advance our knowledge to be able to come up with technologies and solutions that can help improve human kind of activities and human lives and our kind of well-being in general. So once this is there, then actually this will actually make the process of having the other kind of skills such as perseverance, hard work, all these kind of things, they'll come naturally, but most importantly in a joyful manner. So I'm actually really interested in looking to students who will enjoy the ride. Well, it's now clearer than ever to all governments and businesses that data will be the new oil of the century, and computing systems will be the new refineries that will produce the most valuable outputs in the entire planet. So studying computing is basically now is like buying the kind of the most precious tickets toward the future of employment, the future of innovation, the future of pushing the edge of all human knowledge and improving human lives. Also, I think that computing will no longer be restricted or computing education will not be restricted any longer for only computer sciences, because I believe that many other fields are not getting more and more reliant on computing systems. So I believe that many experts in other areas, such as surgeons, such as urban planners, such as transportation engineers, you name it, they will actually have to have a very good training and education on some computing systems to be able to handle their daily or everyday activities. So basically, this is how computing is influential, and this is how any person who's interested in kind of studying computing will be impactful in the near future. Well, what I like most about computing is its tremendously growing ability to impact a broad range of applications nowadays. So I feel myself now actually getting to know and get in depth to know how can I apply what we learn here, or we can do with computing to many areas. I can work with doctors, I can work with, as a transportation engineers, I can work with urban planners, I can work with soccer trainers. So it's like we're impacting everyone's lives, and that's something that is really exciting for me. Another side of what I really enjoy about computing is also the fact that we are very rigorous in what we do. So whenever we say that we have proven something, or we have built something, or have something programmed to do something, we are actually 100% sure of what we say. We're not open to statistical uncertainties as that they may happen in other fields. So I'm very interested in space explorations and the fact that we can populate other planets nowadays. This is kind of something that is really inspiring to think of. I'm very interested in physics. I'm very interested in how this huge kind of awesome machine called the human body, or all kind of organisms, living organisms, they interact and behave, with more interest towards the kind of human brain and how it actually kind of learns and recognize things, because that also maybe has some relations to what we do here in computing. But then again, let me say that all these areas, I cannot really say that they're outside computing really nowadays, because again, as I said earlier, that to make kind of big progress in these areas, it's kind of really now dependent and heavily relying on computing systems. So I like to think of kind of trying to help and contribute to these areas as well. So I like a lot to read, although I can barely say that I have enough time to read with all the work we have been doing. Also, I like to swim a lot. I like to follow sports, and I'm actually very kind of enthusiastic nowadays because of the last win of the Raptors, becoming the East Conference champions. That's really exciting for me, and also playing sports like the one with rackets specifically. And then also I enjoy a lot going to nature, like blending with nature, going into camps, having hikes in like pure nature. That also kind of helps me focus and become more kind of relaxed.